thought, you know what? In the world, there are so many products. 우리 사실 제품 너무 많잖아요. 매일매일 똑같은 제품, 비슷하지만 다른 제품들 많이 나오고 있는데, 그래서 그때 저는 또 다른 제품을 만들기보다는 그 제품을 얼마나 더 잘 활용할 수 있는가, 그럼 활용할 수 있는 디자인을 하고 싶어서 서비스 디자인을 하게 됐어요. And it's been, you know, why I did service design. Okay, so, 이구나. 제가 중간중간에 영어로 준비를 했기 때문에 한국말을 섞어서 하려고 노력을 하겠습니다. 혹시 부족하거나 언클리어한 부분이 있으면 뭐 티타임 때 저한테 물어보셔도 되고 오늘 하루 중에 물어보셔도 됩니다. So, okay. 오늘 저는 디자이닝 러브에 관한 얘기를 하고 싶어요. Fjord는 디자인 서비스 디자인 컨설턴시고 그렇기 때문에 프로페서 마가가 말씀하신 서비스 디자인 네트워크라는 오거나이제이션이나 아까 앞서 말씀해주신 그 포로로 사장님 분이나 아니면 앞에 아카데믹하고는 또 굉장히 다른 퍼스펙티브를 가지고 있어요. 왜냐하면 저희 같은 경우에는 비즈니스와 유저 사이에 비즈니스는 하고 싶어하는 서비스가 있는데 포로라는 서비스를 예를 들어서 그걸 사용자한테 어떻게 더 잘 줄 수 있는가 혹은 그 서비스 자체를 디자인을 해서 유저한테 딜리버하는 게 저희 목적이기 때문에 좀 더 다른 시각을 드릴 수 있을 것 같고요. 그리고 특히 아까 프로페서 마가 프레젠테이션 하셨을 때 누군가 질문을 해주신 것 같은데 어떻게 하면 이 서비스 디자인을 좀 더 비즈니스한 퍼스펙티브에서 볼 수 있는가에 관련된 이야기를 해드리고 싶습니다. 제가 원래는 이렇게 무대에서 얘기를 많이 하는데요. 오늘은 제가 한글 노트를 봐야 되기 때문에 이쪽에 좀 더 가까이 있겠습니다. 네, 저는 서비스 디자인 리드입니다. 서비스 디자인 리드로서 몇 가지 프로젝트 팀을 제가 운영을 하고 있고요. 저희 팀에는 뭐 인터랙션 디자이너, 비주얼 디자이너, 모션 그래픽 아티스트 뭐 여러 가지 사람들이 있지만 저는 essentially I design service experiences. 서비스 익스피리언스 디자인을 저는 서비스 디자인하고 있고요. 근데 저는 저한테 두 가지의 유저가 있다고 생각해요. 한 명은 everyone who's using the service, who's buying the service. 그러니까 우리죠. And the other is the businesses. The business users who comes to me and say, hey, we have this really great service that we want to make, but we don't really know how to do it, or we don't really know who to service for. 그래서 저는 두 가지의 유저가 있어요. 하나는 어떻게 하면 이 사람들이 좀 더 많은 value 돈 낸 것만큼 받을 수 있을까? 또 두 번째는 어떻게 하면 이 서비스가 좋은 value를 주면서 이코노믹한 센스를 만들 수 있을까? 그 두 가지를 한꺼번에 고민해야 되는 직업이고요. 그렇다면 어떤 컴퍼니가 서비스 디자인 리드라는 직책을 가지고 있을까요? 퓨로드는 서비스 디자인 컨설턴시입니다. 저희가 얘기하는 서비스 디자인은 아까 프로페서 마가 말씀하신 거와 거의 동일한 almost exactly as you said. Useful, effective, and desirable service. And on top of that, I would like to add love. The whole theme of this presentation, we want to design service that people actually fall in love with. Now, how is it different? When you like something, you'll use it, and then you go, yeah, I liked it. But when you love something, you kind of go, but I love it. I care about it. I want to do something with it. 좀 더 지속되는 그런 관계를 만들 수 있는 거겠죠. 저희 회사는 it's one office, but we're kind of spread. We have 8 doors. At the moment, actually 10 doors. We've just opened 2 more offices. One in Brazil and also in Istanbul. 한국은 아직 없어요. 저는 사실 원래 런던에서 일했고요. 런던에서 일을 하다 지금은 비를 피해서 마드리드로 왔어요. 한국에는 비가 내리고 있네요. 또 많이. 저희한테는 팀워크가 굉장히 중요합니다. 저는 물론 런던이랑 마드리드에 베이스에 있지만 저희가 프로젝트를 하는 데 있어서는 여러 오피스에서 같이 일을 많이 하고 있고요. 그리고 콜라보레이티브 일도 많이 하고 있어요. 왜냐하면 각 오피스마다 스페셜리티가 조금씩 틀려요. 특히 마켓 같은 거를 보면 마드리드, 제가 지금 있는 마드리드 같은 경우에는 금융 서비스를 굉장히 많이 하고 있어요. 제가 있던 런던에서는 금융 서비스보다는 more conceptual work, research work. There were a lot more research work in London than it's in any other cities. 그리고 물론 미국에는 큰 big players, 뭐 NFL, ESPN, Foursquare, Flickr, So we have a very different sort of calibration. So working together and bringing insights from one office to the other is really important for us. So just to not brag too much, but to let you know the kind of services and companies that we work with. 굉장히 다양한 종류가 있어요. Financial service, BBVA is third biggest bank in the world, the biggest in Spain. BBC, of course, it was my first project at Fjord. Skype, 다들 스카이프는 아시겠지만, 예를 들면 재작년에 안드로이드에 들어가는 스카이프 서비스를 저희 팀에서 진행했어요. And a couple of other things, newspapers, also some health services, sports, music, all different kinds of things. What else? We also, every year, we publish what we think is relevant digital trends. It could range from, well, it's really about just trending. Now, what is trend? Trend is something that everyone is interested in at that time. So that's why we review it or renew it each year. It's freely available on our website as well. And actually, this looking into the future is really important for designers because even though I don't do anything about health service, let's say, by knowing what's in trend, trends usually cross-operate. So something that people are interested in one thing also infiltrates to another areas and other areas. So it helps us broaden our views and keep us sort of on the tech. Field에서는 서비스 디자이너를 아니 서비스 디자인을. So it's kind of like our tagline as well, I suppose. Makes complex systems simple and elegant. Making something simple is actually harder than making things complex. Everyone knows that. But on top of that, we try and make it elegant. Why? Because we want everyone who's experiencing it to be delighted by it. They kind of look at it and go, oh, look at that, it's so cute, it's so nice. And we want that kind of emotional response to it. And it has to work on multiple touch points, and actually we take this really seriously. 왜냐하면 the kind of interconnected world we live in, now I'm looking at everywhere, everyone's got their phone on their hand, taking pictures, also a couple of cameras, probably doing some tweeting on the iPad or a PC. We live with so many products around us, and we expect to be connected at all time. Not just between people to people, but between my device to your device, or me to that, I don't know, fridge. So in this interconnected world, allowing people to connect to your service on multiple platforms is very important. So what we say is whenever people meet product they use. So even though it's digital service, you don't just meet digital service, you meet digital service through different means. Like right now I'm presenting to you using this tool and also this microphone. So I'm already using two products, just delivering this speech to you, right? And why are we doing all of this? As I said, to create emotional bond between customers. 이런 감정적인 본드가 있었을 때 그 서비스는 it can change people's behaviors really and also improve lives as well. Okay, so without further ado, I said lots of different things here, but actually it comes down to this. It's in a simple word. Service design is designing relationship. Right now, through this speech, I'm trying to create a relationship and bond with you guys. And that's actually what service design is about. It's like when we meet people. 우리가 누군가를 만나면 그거는 뭐 한 번 이렇게 만나서 붐 하고 뭐 결혼하던가 가정을 이루는 건 아니잖아요. And we meet through different channels, but also 이 사람 너무 잘생겼어요. 저 이 사람이랑 결혼하려고가 아니라 잘생겼는데 마음씨도 좋고 일도 되게 잘하는 것 같고 저를 되게 케어해주고 그런 여러 가지 컴플렉스한 과정을 거쳐서 this chemical reaction happening in my brain, then in my body, in my heart, and then I fall in love. So it's the same thing. When the engagement were really great, all of them, then you fall in love. Now, why are we talking about love? 사실은 이런 뭐 서비스나 뭐 제품에 있어서 그 석세스를 메저하는 데는 여러 가지 방법이 있을 수가 있잖아요. So why the hell are we talking about love? What does love got to do with anything? Love는 쉬워요. Everyone gets love. Now, when I tell you about my relationship with my not existing currently boyfriend, you get it, right? And also, everyone wants to experience love. 우리 다 사랑받고 사랑하길 원하잖아요. So when a designer, well, what that means is that whatever I design, if I design for love, that means you will get it. At the same time, for a designer who's designing it, I get to have the same perspective, same lens as the people who will be using it, and therefore we are in sync. We are connected already. So when I'm connected, then I can provide much better service for the people. It's exactly like the case of Bororo. 그 팀에서 팀원들이 다 2살 배기에서 5살 배기, 자식들이 아니고 아이들인가요? 아이들을 둔 죄송합니다. 아이들을 둔 부모님들을 있잖아요. 그래서 그 파이널 유저들의 마음을 이해할 수 있다고. 똑같아요. 우리는 모두가 사랑을 이해하고 있기 때문에 우리가 뭘 디자인했던 좋은 디자인을 할 수 있는 거예요. 라고 생각합니다. And when we fall in love, we spend more time together. And we grow a relationship. And 맞아요. Heartbreak is so hard. So no one wants it. And we want our relationship to last. 그렇기 때문에 우리가 사람과 사람 간의 관계를 생각을 하다 보면 근데 그거를 바꿔서 서비스 디자인에서는 if service design is creating relationship between the service and the users, just replace the people, then we can actually transfer the learnings from love into service design. And I'll tell you how. So, how do we design service relationship with people? First of all, we're going to need two parties here. Service providers, that's the businesses, and end users, that's us. Some of the services, it's not working so well? Oh, yes. Some of the services could have a unique value. 너무 특별한 value가 있을 수 있고, it could be well designed, badly designed, but also it could be well delivered or not. And in terms of end users, people call desire, that means aspiration. It's not something that I have or I even think that I need, but I aspire to it. Everyone aspires, and that's how we make progress. Or I need it, it's a necessity, it's a practical reasons. Or I seek it, which means, like, I'm gonna have to have it. I'm actually looking to have it. It's like the Starbucks. I am looking to buy that damn coffee. That's what I seek for. And all of these people have different intentions. 내가 원하는 게 틀리기 때문에 how we design and how we deliver the service must be different in order to make the best impact. So, let's think of 3 different cases. One, great service. 서비스는 굉장히 좋은데 it was badly delivered. Often, first of all, what happens? Obviously, then the person will leave and there's no relationship. Often we can see this in high-tech solutions. Very often, it was wrong timing. Or it was too expensive. And for example, Apple Newton. How many of you remember Apple Newton? Or how many of you know Apple Newton? Okay, 1, exactly. So Apple Newton was a great product. It was a really great product. It was actually the first ever tablet. But then it didn't take off. Why? Because market wasn't mature enough. It was way ahead of time. It doesn't change the fact that it was good service. It just wasn't delivered quite correctly or to the right market. Second case, it's bad service that's been tainted. Bad service somehow it was forced to right users, and often we see this in public services. And I'm not going to give any examples because I think I might get into trouble. 하지만, when that happens, the relationship ends, we get that heartbreak. Thirdly, service is designed for this lady, but that actually, well, it was delivered to that lady, but it had a wrong users in mind. And what happens? Okay, maybe there was some love to start with, but then it doesn't grow very well. And a great example of that is a recent project that we did in Madrid. Telefonica is like 우리나라로 치면 SK텔레콤 같은 거예요. 텔레포니카는 굉장히 크고요. 근데 텔레포니카가 각 하우스들마다 에너지 미터를 만들고 싶었어요. So you can see how much energy you're using, and then it can kind of tell you, okay, this month you used a lot more electricity in this particular room. I don't know, even when you're not there. So this is how you can save energy. 근데 그래서 저희가 디자인을 도왔거든요. 근데 사실은 it didn't take off very well. Why? Because is there any Spanish people in the room? 혹시 스페인 분 계시나요? 안 계시네요. 다행입니다. 스페인 사람들 이코 디자인 별로 관심 없어요. 너무 관심 없어요. 그래서 만약에 이 서비스를 자기가 사용하기 위해서 내가 에퍼트를 더 많이 써야 된단 말이에요. 근데 사실 나한테 돌아오는 value는 우리는 엔드유저로서 가장 중요하게 생각하는 value는 물론 돈이겠죠. I don't save that much money. So my effort versus money, okay, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to bother with it. 그런 상황이 벌어지는 겁니다. So what does service design do? By the way, it sounds like I did the pre-talk with Professor Maga. It really wasn't the case. I feel the same way. Service design은 right service와 right user를 bridge 하는 역할을 해줘요. 그리고 what does that do? So I, as a consultant, I help facilitate relationship between the service and the users. The relationship은 뭘까요? Relationship is exchange of values. I, as a service, provide, and a business, provide a certain value, like children's education, and then kids love me and send me fan letters, and also buy my product, and therefore it boosts my economy and my business. So, before going to this, I was going to say something along the line of, if the service design is about facilitating relationship, how would you facilitate such relationship? And 그래서 서비스적인 오퍼링을 다이어그램으로 만들어봤어요. Everyone knows this. You've all seen this. I just want to point out this last bit. So obviously we have to define what is a USB, value가 뭔지도 알아야 되고, 타겟 유저도 define하고, 그래서 디자인해서 delivery까지 했는데, what's actually important is evolve, especially for service design. Service design is designing of something that is more organic. 제품처럼 한번 디자인하면 이렇게 드리고, okay, maybe I make the second version, but that's it. You have to have a relationship with this remote control now. But with service, because it is something that I gain through so many different paths and touch points, it can evolve, and it has to evolve. Why? Because as I'm using this device or service, my position changes, my needs changes. 우리가 서비스를 사용하면서 예를 들어서 나는 생판 모르는 서비스를 받았는데 서비스를 사용하면서 조금씩 알게 됐어요. 그러면 how I interact with the service also changes. 왜냐하면 난 좀 더 많이 아니까 이제 뭐 첫 번째 first two pages I can skip 할 수 있어요. 그리고 다음으로 갈 수 있단 말이에요. 그런데 계속 똑같은 안내문을 앞에서 계속 주면 화나잖아요. So service must evolve with users. And when the service actually evolves with the users, that's when users feel like, oh my god, the service actually knows me. 난 알아요. 알고 저한테 이렇게 따라오는 거예요. 계속 바뀌면서. So I actually feel like, you know what, I kind of like this dude. He comes with me, he serves me really well, and he actually changes how he is depending on my needs. So that's how we build a relationship, a love affair. 여기서 약간 테크니컬하게 가자면 I wanted to compare the difference between design agencies and consultancies, service design consultancies actually, because that fact, being able to do the evolve as well, I think that's the difference between product design or graphic design to service design. 그리고 디자인 에이전시와 서비스 디자인 컨설턴시의 차이라고 생각을 해요. So, normally a business, they have to start with the business requirements first. 우리가 뭐를 서비스를 하고 싶고 얼마의 돈을 사용하고 싶고 얼마의 돈을 벌고 싶습니다. 그게 없으면 비즈니스가 안 되겠죠. 그렇게 해서 쭉쭉쭉쭉 여러 가지가 나올 수 있겠지만 8가지가 있지만 I won't go into details. 디자인 에이전시는 보통 여기부터 시작해요. So business comes to you and say, okay, can you please design me something? I have idea. 나는 뭘 디자인하고 싶은지 알고요. 이 사람들을 위해서 이렇게 디자인해 주세요. 알겠습니다. 인터랙션 디자인하고 비주얼 디자인하고 maybe brand application too 이거 드려요. 그러면 it's up to the business to then deliver it to the users. If you are what they call full service design agency, you might start a little bit before. 아마 브랜드 스트래티지나 DNA도 함께 볼 거예요. Yeah, but then what is your strategy? 이 브랜드, 당신의 브랜드를 이 유저들한테 드리기 위한 무슨 스트래티지가 있습니까? 없으면 저희가 만들어 드릴게요. 라고 하는 디자인 에이전시들도 많이 생기고 있어요, 지금. Then, 서비스 디자인 컨설턴시란 이 모든 8가지를 한꺼번에 볼 수 있어야 합니다. 그래서 typically, 저희 회사에 오는 클라이언트들은 다 okay, so I want to create this new market or I want to design something and our requirement is this, but we don't know how to serve this. 그렇게 얘기를 했을 때 저희는, like Professor Mager was showing us, we do stakeholder report, interviews. We find out exactly what they want to do and how much value they want to create and for what money. And then we go through different stages. Of course, it would be luxury to do all of that in all projects. That doesn't happen in reality. 사실이 아니에요. 왜냐? 비싸요. 이거 다 하려면 정말 비싸요. 정말 비싸고 시간도 굉장히 많이 걸려요. 이번, 예? 죄송해요. 저한테 무슨 줄 알았어요. 너무 비싸기 때문에 그렇게 할 수 있는 기업들은 정말 작아요. 그래서 제가 처음에 이 Fjord에서 일을 하기 시작했을 때는 그때도 거의 뭐 텔레콤, 오렌지, 뭐 한국에서는 삼성, LG 이런 기업들과 같이 일을 했지만 지금 계속 우리가 일을 많이 해감으로써 점점 더 작은 기업들하고는 일하는 기회가 조금 적어지는 것 같아요. 그래서 그건 좀 아쉬운 부분이긴 하지만 서비스 디자인 컨설턴시로서는 어떤 파트에서 비즈니스가 저희 서비스를 요구하더라도 the fact that we know and have expertise on all of them helps us design services that are very specific, but also we've thought about it holistically. So, recap. 서비스 디자인은 관계를 형성시켜주고 유지시켜줍니다. Between business and users through all the rest. So, now that we talked about the theory part, how do we design for love? That's the important part, right? So what I'm going to tell you is the 3 universal stages of attaining true love, which I'm sure everyone knows. And then based on it, I will give you examples, business examples that have really coined that part. And then I'll give you how then we would design services in that way. It's very simple. 정말 쉬워요. We have to go from wow to of course. It's a very important philosophy and very simple. 많은 사람들이 처음에 디자인을 보면, 특히 저희 클라이언트들은 보면, yeah, it's kind of cool, but yeah, I mean, you know, it just looks too obvious. 근데 그게 중요해요. The fact making it obvious, that's the hard bit. The fact that I look at something and I go, oh, I know how that works. Because yeah, I mean, it's like obvious. When something is obvious, you use it all the time. Again, going back to the Bororo idea. 그거를 200번, 300번 계속 할 수 있기 때문에 관계가 지속되는 거예요. 한 번 사용해서 버리는 디자인이라면 it's like I don't know, you go on a hot date and then you had a great night and then you forget about that guy. Okay, one night stand maybe. But we want to design, of course. Now, back to the 3 stages. First, when you meet someone, 이렇게 아하가 있어야 돼요. 여기서 이렇게 쭉 사람들을 봤는데 아하! 그분이요. Getting my attention. Okay, I do too. You just caught my attention. That's the aha moment. We need to do that because otherwise it's like 그 원리를 찾아라랑 똑같아요. 이 많은 남자들 중에서 저는 누구한테 눈을 줘야 될지 모르는 거랑 똑같아요. 근데 아하 그래서 이분을 찾았는데 그 다음에 이분이 저한테 he pulls a chair for me, opens the door for me, and it's very nice and all that. 그래서 제가 와우 그랬단 말이에요. 근데 와우 이거 오래 안 가요. 그냥 와우 한 번 받고 나면 그 다음에 또 와우 안 하고 yeah, he's doing that thing. 그렇게 되거든요. 왜냐면 again, that's how our brain is geared, right? We can only produce so much dopamine. We can't keep producing it. That's the whole point. So we get wow, and then it kind of goes down. So if you really want a long-term relationship, we have to at some point change from wow to of course. Of course takes a longer time. 처음에는 뭐야 이거? It's not looking fancy enough. But that actually, that's the thing that kind of keeps going and going and going. It goes to the relationship. So, 우리가 원하는 user reaction이 aha, wow, of course. 라면, the digital service equivalent would be the discovery of the service, the trial of the service, and how you get the loyalty of the people. And I've given you 3 different stages. One, we call it matchmaking. That's when you go on a blind date. And then we go on a date. And once our couple of dates were good, then we go to the true love. And maybe we get married. Okay, so first, matchmaking. 이거 굉장히 중요해요. 이게 그 윌리를 찾아라 모먼입니다. So we have to find your true love in this big market. And of course, we have to fight for it. There are so many new services, so many new products, so many different things happening daily. So how does your service get that attention? If you got the attention, Now you have to get a hook. We have to get hooked. Or I need to hook you in. Or you have to hook me in. And Instagram is a great example. 훅을 위해서는 우리는 잘하는 거 한 가지를 찾으라 그래. 많은 거 다 잘할 수 있지만 사실 아시아 쪽에서는 피처가 많은 걸 굉장히 좋아해요. Lots of features. And in a website, lots of places to click. And it's because people believe that it gives choice, but choice is not always a good thing. If there are too many choices, I think it's something like a psychology, I don't know if you can confirm for me. I think that after 7 choices, people kind of lose interest. They kind of go, yeah, what was that thing? 그래서 잘하는 거 하나만 찾아서 do it really well. And Instagram, it takes really great photo. All the rest of it that it does, it's secondary. It was good that it did it. And finally, make it easy to understand. 처음 만나는 사람인데 이름이 막 길어요. 그러면 저 그 사람 기억 못해요. The same thing. Make it simple and easily understood. So a quick recap. Focus on easy discovery. 빨리 찾고, 훅을 찾고, 그리고 스스로를 빨리 설명할 수 있어야 돼요. 두 번째. Now I found you. Let's go on a date. Right? So we go on a date. And in a date, it's really important that we get to the date quickly. 만났는데 데이팅하러 가는 시간이 너무 오래 길었어요. 한 달 동안 연락을 안 했어요. I already forgot that guy. Same thing. Square는 그걸 굉장히 잘하고 있어요. Square is just a plug-in device that you put on your iPhone, and then it turns you into a cash machine. It turns anyone into a shop because you can read card from your phone. Second, beauty. Visual richness and appeal. 물론 제가 아까 여러 가지 다른 방법으로 어필할 수 있다고 했지만 사실 아름다운 거에는 아무래도 다 끌리죠. But it's eye of beholder. What is beautiful for me is could be different from what's beautiful for you. Which is why it's very important to understand the context of the users. So as being in an international consultancy, I get to work with different people in different countries as well. And that's actually one of the reasons why we share information so much between offices. Because if I was designing a service for Korea, it will be completely different from if I was doing design for, let's say, Spain, or Africa, or Brazil. So even in the beauty, you have to find 그 사용자들이 있는, 유저들이 있는 그 곳의 뷰티가 뭔지를 찾는 게 중요합니다. Gaming and social is also important. 왜 게이밍과 소셜이 important한가? 왜냐하면 게이밍이나 소셜은 가슴에 어필할 수 있어요. It's like you can talk to people's heart. Gaming is something that it's engaging. Social also engaging. I don't use it by myself. I use it with other people. 나 혼자 사용하는 것보다 100명이 사용을 하면 I will probably use it more. Same thing. 참고로 이거 셋 다 저희 회사에서 그래서 리캡을 하자면 데이팅을 할 때는 빨리 데이트 장소로 가세요. 두 번째, make it game dynamics and effective. 이렇게 계속 탁구공이 보잉 할 수 있게 해주세요. 보잉 하지 않나? 세 번째는 social component, and finally tactile beauty. 지금 아이패드가 나오면서 there are so many richness to the visual effect. Make use of it. I mean, it's actually in the 10 Commandments, I think, or something, of Apple design. When you're designing for iPad, make sure to utilize the Retina display. It brings such a detail to textures, for example, that when you actually look at it, you don't notice it in your eyes, but actually you don't get bored of looking at it all the time. That's because you've given them something that is so physical, that looks even greater than the physical thing itself, that makes you want to use it more. It's just pleasing. Final stage. 데이팅을 해서 이제 true love로 왔어요. It's about being fluid. It's about meaningful. It's about creating relationship that lasts. 여기서 다시 한번 제가 강조드리고 싶은 건 wow versus of course. We understand everyone that 어떤 많은 컴퍼니들이 wow 디자인 그리고 클라이언트들이 wow 디자인을 중요하게 생각해요. 왜냐? 그 사람들은 그 프레젠트 제가 디자인한 이 스크린을 한 번밖에 안 봐도 돼요. 하지만 as a user, I have to look at it all day, every day. So this visual bling, I will be bored of it very soon. So that's first lesson. Second, 이 서비스가 나를 이해하고 알고 있고 이해한다면 then I trust it more, I rely on it more. So make the people as the foundation of your service. Thirdly, ubiquity. I'm sure everyone knows this, especially in Korea. 한국에서는 이거 ubiquitous design, ubiquitous 혁신 이게 한 5년 전부터 얘기를 계속 하고 있었던 것 같아요. 근데 사실 제가 생각할 때는 한국이 정말 ubiquitous한 라이프스타일을 살 수 있는 몇 개 안 되는 나라 중에 하나인 것 같아요, 세계적으로. 왜냐하면 we are also connected and the infrastructure is here. A lot of companies like UK, we suggested various different concepts around ubiquity. It doesn't work. It's not because people don't want it. Actually, that is partly true as well. But it's mainly because the infrastructure does not support it. 그런 ubiquitous한 라이프를 살 만한 이동통신망이 구축되어 있지가 않아요. So this is the part where 유저들은 이만큼 가고 싶어 하는데 테크놀로지가 아직 못 따라가고 있는 경우입니다. But actually, interestingly, EU is starting this initiative of designing for what they call interconnected world. 그래서 EU, European Union이죠. EU에서는 지금 하고 있는 프로젝트이 그 인터커넥티드한 디자인을 만들기 위해서는 어떤 디자인 가이드라인이 필요할까요? 라는 주제가 있었어요. 나중에 저에게 질문을 해주시면 제가 다시 성실히 더 많은 답변을 드릴게요. 그거에 관련돼서는. 피오르드에서는 그거 때문에 많은 리서치를 했었고 또 그 디자인 가이드라인의 파운데이션을 만드는 작업을 작년에 제가 했거든요. 그렇기 때문에 근데 그런 ubiquitous한 라이프스타일을 살 때 가장 필요한 건 fluidity예요. When my content or service is delivered to you on so many different levels and places 내가 PC에서 뭔가를 작업을 했는데 똑같은 서비스를 핸드폰에서 봤을 때 사용할 수 없어요. 그러면 it's 화나잖아요. It's same thing. So bring the fluidity of the content, fluidity of the user experience is key, is essential. So again, the same recap. 오프코스를 위해서 디자인해 주세요. 와우가 아니라. Ensure profile and identity matters are well considered. 이 서비스가 저를 알아가게 해주고 So look for elements of your solution that can be atomized. 그래서 제가 한 서비스를 어느 플랫폼에서 쓰든지 part of that experience of the services carries on the different platforms. 그리고 마지막으로 ubiquity and fluidity. So 이 세 가지 저희는 지금 universal stages of love를 봤어요. Matchmaking, dating, and true love. 네. 만약에 이 서비스가 이 세 가지의 사랑에 빠지는 단계들을 다 컨시더한 디자인을 만들었을 때 그 서비스는 그냥 저를 알지 않아요. 아는 걸 떠났어요. 아는 게 아니라 it learns about me. 저에 대해서 배우고 있어요. 저를 이해하고요. 그리고 저랑 같이 사람이 진화하는 건 좀 이상하지만 저랑 같이 바뀌고 있어요. So when a service learns about me, it's actually putting an effort to learn about me. And it shows me that it understands me. And how is it doing it? By evolving to meet my changing needs. And based on my feedback, that's when I feel love from the service. Then 대시를 받으면 당연히 저도 사랑하고 싶어지잖아요. So that's the same thing. And that's how we create design for love. Thank you.